Live streaming is on.
Hey guys, it's Ladybug checking in for another Sunday Fun Day or Sip and Stitch. I am the founder, therefore the pilot of Yarn Movement, where we are a global fashion and lifestyle brand really created to inspire consumers to value craftsmanship. And what do I mean by craftsmanship? Because I am a crocheter and I know a lot of handcrafters out there, and we spend a lot of time on the things that we create. And so these Sundays are really just established for a way for us to have a one-on-one engagement where we have an opportunity to really just hone in on the story behind the creative, who is me, or the future guests that we may have as far as their handcrafting goods that they're creating. But today is a little special for me because it seems kind of odd to even have this conversation so soon, but 2020 has brought out some strange things. So let's start off with a quick sip because we wouldn't be a sip and stitch without a sip. So I cheers to all of you all who are watching. And as we like to say with Yarn Movement, we are sharing the power of creativity to empower the world. Therefore, telling you all to embrace your dopeness in all that you do. So semi-big announcement. I've been working on a book of patterns, and anyone who knows me know that my favorite aspect of being a creative is that I get to do things from here. But enough people have asked over the years, and it's time that I put out something special. And I chose to do it around granny squares because granny squares, everyone knows my story. Me and my grandmother and her friends, that's how I learned to crochet and do many of the things that I continue to do today. So it's centered around granny squares, and it is called 12 Months of Creative Dopeness. And we'll be doing 12 projects where I'll be showing you all how to go from a single granny square into a cool project. And since, as I mentioned, we are a lifestyle and fashion brand, some of the things that we'll be creating is like a travel pillow. This is one of my favorite things to travel with because you get to look cool and have your travel pillow with you. So I'll be showing you all how to make travel pillows while sharing the pattern, of course. Of course, I'm going to have to show you guys how to go through and create these granny square beanies that I've been making over the last 4 or 5 months at this point. So that'll be another project. So again, it's just showing you how you can go from granny square to a project. Something else. Let's see. For those women out there who love a pencil skirt, I'll be showing you how to make a granny square pencil skirt that looks really cute and cool, and you can be super fabulous with all the different color blocking that you may want to. Of course, this is full of color because that's just my personality. But pencil skirt. What else do we have over here? Throw pillow. So again, as you guys can see, this is just essentially a large granny square. And I show you how to make it into a throw pillow so you can look cute in your house and match all the colors and not stress about trying to find throw pillows to throw on your couch or have a pop of color in your room. You can create your own. And last, this actually is not complete, but I'll be showing you all how to make a sweater. And again, this is just a granny square too with a trick, but yes. So you all look forward and look out for information for 12 months of creative dopeness and the patterns that go with it. And we are going to get into today's sip and stitch. And we're going to start by just rolling a yarn ball. I actually already started because I would like to get through the creation of a full hat this time. So granny squares are, again, my way. This is kind of like the introduction. This is getting your mind together for whatever we're going to work on, just to make sure you're putting good energy into what you're creating. So we start off by, well, maybe I should actually start one. So yeah, I'll do this little small one here. Great thing about when you make yarn balls, you can literally go back and forth. So to start off, you just want to take the loose end of the yarn or the end piece, and you want to wrap 5 times around your hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you want to remove it from your hand, and you have this loop, and you just want to wrap in the middle like a little bow tie. You want to do 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then you're gonna kind of fold those ends over to like squish together like the beginnings of a middle of the ball. And you just keep on wrapping around, hold it in place, wrap, 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 wrap. And then you'll find yourself having a rhythm, and you just want to keep on, rotating your work, because you don't want a lopsided ball, or you might want a lopsided ball. I prefer to have, something that's a little bit more spherical, but, you can have a lopsided ball you want. It's really, a reflection of like what's going on in your life anyway. So if you feel like your life is a little lopsided, maybe your ball might end up being lopsided. But yeah. So that is how you start a yarn ball. How you finish it, you have this extra piece that's kind of hanging over, and you want to just tuck it in place. Then you have yarn ball. So I'm going to finish this purple one that I'm working on here. Hello to everyone who has jumped into the live stream on Facebook and Instagram. Hey guys. Okay. Okay, so same thing. I'm at the end because, again, this is a preset ball. I started this before. And you tuck it in. And today we have squares from Priscilla. And I'm going to take the squares that she provided. I'm going to show you how to make the granny square hat. So any crocheter out there who's interested in contributing to, believe in what you dream. So let's take a step back real quick. For any of you all who have not watched the live stream up until this point or have not participated in the Sip and Stitch, these Sip and Stitches are dedicated towards the nonprofit arm of Yarn Movement, which is called Believe in What You Dream. Believe in What You Dream is a focus of helping young girls discover their superpowers, and we do so through the vehicle of crochet. And in each workshop, we have 3 pillars. The first pillar being a dream catcher. That's the visual aspect of having a dream. And this is concept of taking your own thoughts, creating it into some visual aspect that represents your dreams. Therefore, you have an opportunity to wake up and go to sleep to the thought of understanding that you actually have a dream to believe in. Secondarily, we do a little bit of journaling. We call it journaling your journey, because it's important to take this concept of your dream, put some legs on it, right? And so literally, we're going to write down the dreams, put a written version of it, so that when you come back to it, you have an opportunity to say, okay, what worked well, what didn't work well. And ultimately, as you go along the course of following your dreams and, believing in them at the same time, you have an opportunity to come back and go and see what has worked out, what hasn't worked out, who's been a part of your process, what do you need moving forward. And that really is your journey, because ultimately, if you do it long enough, you're going to have success, and you're going to have a lot of success, and you're going to be able to go back and understand why you had that success. And then last, basic crochet lesson, which is a way of tying it all together to let all these girls know that, your thoughts are important, you working with your hands are important. And I like to call that the think link methodology. So training your mind to think, and understand that whatever you think about, you can convert through your hands. So these beanies are being created and sold as a way to support the Believe in What You Dream program. One beanie is going to go towards supporting 2 girls. They will receive what we call the Dream Girl Kit. And inside the Dream Girl Kit, they're going to receive all the materials required for the workshop, along with a few items that are specialty items that we are going to utilize as a way to address some of the social disparities which in each of the communities that we go to. A major component for pretty much all girls is going to be personal hygiene, personal care. So we're providing sanitary products and, soaps and lotions and things like that. And then secondarily, in many of the communities that we're going to, because many of them are rural, power is the issue. So we're going to be including solar lamps. So that's why these beanies are being created. Granny squares, of course, because they go along with the story and the nostalgia of understanding that, you have an opportunity to really embed love into what's being created. And so in order to make these beanies, and again, the example of the beanie is like the one I just showed you all, it requires 8 squares to create it. And so I'm going to show you all how to put it together to make a granny square beanie. And then when it's sold, whoever purchases, when they have pictures, then we are all a part of the process. I'm like, oh, I remember when she made that. And then therefore Priscilla, who created the squares, can come back and say, oh yeah, I've been a part of the process. So then we're all connected. So our stories become a story to tell, to sell, and inspire. Okay, so let's get to it. I'm actually going to add another row of purple to these because I want it to be a little bigger. Yeah, just gonna have to add like one more row. Hey guys. So as I'm adding one more row to each of these squares, just want to, share some stories, I guess, to talk about how we're able to pivot during this crazy COVID-19 quarantine, social distance, no engagement or interaction. We have to rely on virtual time. It actually works out pretty well because crochet is just one of those things where you have an opportunity to connect, whether it be in person, online, or, like at this point on paper through Pattern, and been still able to stay connected with the groups of girls that we've already done activations for, but also been connecting with, a few other organizations. I wonder if I'm going to have enough purple to do this. You know what? I'm just going to make this one a small one. So had we not been in COVID, quarantine, social distance time, we would be traveling. Many of you should know by now that I love to travel. And we would probably most likely be in Ghana. Was supposed to be this year, so we would have been in Ghana. And I've recently connected with an organization that is based in South Africa. So that is going to be a new location on the map that we're going to head towards and connect with more girls there in that region. But for now, the plan is to continue the Believe in What You Dream workshops online. So we do a virtual version of what happens in person, which still works. Actually, it kind of works in another way, and it has a different value proposition to look at, because in other words, we would only have an opportunity to connect with who we can connect with in person, and having the online aspect kind of broadens the scope a lot more. And so that's, kind of like an added benefit, even though it's just not the best option, because I just prefer to be in person anyway. But, I've been getting a hang of this virtual online meetup thing. And if anything, even if it's 1, 2, or 3, or 100, sometimes 400 people who show up, whether it be for virtual or for, some version of, live. For me, it's about sharing the story. It's about inspiring the next, generation to come forth and crochet and make handcrafted goods. That's what it's all about for me. Because as great as it is to have clothing that's manufactured by machine, there's something special about something that's made by hand and having a connection with the individual who makes it for you. Hopefully you all can feel that and dig that, because that's what we're here for. So just know that if I'm creating something for you, or anyone who's a handcrafter, therefore it's being done with the extra level of comfort. Sometimes we have intimate moments with the things that we're creating, laying in our bed, watching a good movie, crocheting, or taking it within travel and creating some really awesome pieces. So I'm looking forward to also what actually prompted me. I've been really toiling around creating a pattern book for years now. Again, it's just not my favorite thing to do, probably because I like the, versatility of being able to be in the moment and creating something fly. But I also understand the value of having a pattern present, especially in this case where we're virtual and, we don't have the opportunity to have in-person, interactions. And many of those up until this point have been a muted interaction for the most part because, given the culture, the region, the location, there may be a language barrier of some type. But the thing about crochet is that if you can somehow understand or learn the different symbols that are being utilized to create or translate into stitches, then we don't have to necessarily speak the same language, but we can understand the same language. And so that is a new challenge that I am taking on. So pray for me, wish me luck. I have less than a month to pull it all together. I have been working on it, but let's just see what happens. But again, it opens up a greater opportunity to connect. So I have added a extra row to the square just to make it a little bigger, as you can see. And I did this because for those who have hair, it doesn't even matter how long your hair is. You want to have a little bit more space in between your beanie. Yes, is it cute to be a Scully? Sure. But we all know that we're kind of moving into, I don't know, strange seasons right now because there was a lightning and thunderstorm here yesterday and all throughout the day today. But we are moving into a new season here soon. So, and it's snowing like less than an hour away from here. So, I just want to be prepared for those who, may see something that they like, see a beanie that's being created, and they're like, oh, I want that. Make sure that they can actually fit it. I should be recording this over here. Let's take another sip because this is a sipping stage. Cheers, guys. Okay. Oh, yeah. So another part of these patterns that I'm going to be providing, I will be doing some live streaming on, stitch alongs. And I also will be doing some, more in-depth videos so you can see the handiwork and the technique that I choose to use to get things done quick. So these are all exciting things, I think, and I'm happy to have this time of quarantine isolation to get them done. Otherwise, I probably would be on the same train of like, oh yeah, one day I'm going to do that. And I'm pushing myself to make that one day today or now. Just trying to keep track of time too, because Instagram likes to boot people off. Okay. So that is 2 down, 6 more to go. Then we can pull it all together. Which actually I'm going to pull them together too as I go. So be sure to tie off your yarn. If not, you don't want it to unravel on you. That would be the worst. Okay. So to put these together, we're just going to do a seam across the edge here. And you can do so. I'm just going to do a single crochet across the top seam. Okay. And as we're talking, if you have not done so already, if you could do your girl a favor and go to my YouTube page under Yarn Movement and click the little bell to subscribe so you can watch more and more videos, especially as I get ready to launch 12 months of creative dope days. You want to be tuned all the way into those. In addition to the next round, next season of Fly Girls. So please do your girl a favor and subscribe to my page. So now we have the seam on these done. So that's done. So we just have to do basically 3 more sets of those. Yikes. I'm like running against the clock. So they don't shut me down. So one of the really cool things about crocheting for me is that like you have a real opportunity to create some like cool stuff, but it's also making the connections. You know, when I meet other crocheters, I'm always super hyped, and you know, it's like one of those things. It's not this secret society, but it almost is, where you're like, oh, you crochet too? That's so cool, you know. And for me, I'm always just like, oh, how can I support? What are you doing? What are your goals? Can we work on some stuff together? Because I have dreams about, I don't know if you all have watched, well, you probably have, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. But when they go inside the chocolate room or inside the actual factory, and he's singing, dun, 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 imagination. When he goes in that room, I just always dream about recreating that into a yarn room. And so for me, meeting other crocheters means that it gets a little bit or becomes a little bit more real. because in order to have that kind of level of craftsmanship come together, it is a movement, and there are some groups that have been able to cultivate really dope projects, like, especially like when I look online and I see some of the women in India who are working on projects together. um, there's a few crocheters who are based in Europe who, travel and kind of do these really cool projects together. And so, you know, for me, it's all inspiring. And I look forward to the opportunity one day to be able to pull together a project such as that, because it's in my mind and I want to be able to link it into reality, and connect with other people who, maybe they had not had the idea, but would be interested in, being a part of something like as such, because it'd just be cool where people can come and just, you know, see some handcraftsmanship on display. Uh-oh, I'm running out of yarn. I hope I have enough to finish all of these. Let's just pray. Or else I'm gonna have to pull it together with a different color. Black is always an option, so. Okay. After I pull together this other side, I'm gonna do some transitioning with the live streaming. Um, just to switch around the channel so I can get more people on YouTube right now. So if you're still interested in keeping track with me and seeing what's going on, you just switch over to the next channel or go to YouTube. And remember to press that subscribe button, click that little bell in the corner, give your girl some likes, some loves. Okay. I want you guys to know that it's 1,000 degrees too. Whew. Feels like I'm actually in Africa, Tanzania right now, even though I'm just reminiscing about stories. It is blazing, blazing outside. Okay. Yeah, let's do it this way. So I'm just going to do a seam on the corner here to pull these together. Hey, hey. Yeah, you said it's 108. I don't even know how hot it is outside today, but it was definitely 103 yesterday, I believe, which, they say hot August nights. Yeah, it is definitely hot August nights and days out here in California. Lord have mercy. Without a cool. Normally here in the Bay, once the sun goes down, we get a wind chill factor coming off the water. No, not even close yesterday or today. Has made me rethink my whole life. Okay. Just want to pull these together. Then I'm going to pull them together with the other side. And then we just need to do the other side of these. And then it's going to be done. I always feel good when I actually get a hat done on Sundays. And if I can get two done, please, I've been actively working on all my swimwear so I can fulfill the orders that are coming in, especially for the boutiques. But it's always nice to have something else creative to do, change up the monotony, where I don't have to count stitches and make sure that I'm accurately following someone's cup size. Because I don't want, I want them to feel all the way comfortable. Okay. So we have these two sides. We're going to put these two sides together. Let's pray I have enough yarn to get through the other side. If not, I actually think I have this purple, so I should be okay. I don't know if you all have been to the stores. I mean, I can't speak on being actually inside the store because I haven't really been leaving my house since February. But I do know there is a yarn shortage. So, I've been just looking at all of the colors I have here, which is the reason why I actually chose to do granny squares, because it just seemed like the most reasonable thing to do versus trying to just do one color hat and not have the matching yarn to go with it moving forward. So that's why all these colors have come together. But I definitely, with some of my swimwear, because I'm sourcing, um, specialized yarn, praise God, people understand the value of craftsmanship when it's handcrafted, because it buys in a whole lot of time as far as, delivery time. I'm actually still waiting on yarn that I ordered 3 months ago. But, such is life. It's not my fault, It's COVID's fault. Okay, one side is all the way done. Oop, oop. Okay, one side is complete. See that? Let's pop in. So now we have to do the other side. And I'm going to switch off. Post that one. And I'm going to go to my personal page and go live. And same thing here with Instagram. I'm going to go and transfer to my personal page, which is s.ladybug. Of course, you can go on YouTube and see the live there. It's live at least into the next 30 minutes or so. So I can finish this other side. So thanks for checking in with me. I know my face looks silly. Sip and stage with s.ladybug. Here we go. Put it there. Post. And boom. And we're going to go live on the personal page. Uh-oh. Okay. And boom. Okay. Hey guys. So we're working on another beanie. So for those who are just checking in to today's sipping stage, I have discussed a few exciting things, by the way. So first being that I will be releasing a book here soon that is going to be centered around projects that you can do with granny squares, because we all know that I am the queen of the granny square. I love granny squares. They're things that I love to do. And so just for information wise, this is what you call a granny square. They normally come in 3 to 4 colors. I'm using these granny squares to make granny square beanies that are being sold for the nonprofit arm of the Yarn Movement. Each beanie is enough to impact 2 girls, where we will be doing our workshops that we now have to do virtually because of quarantine, COVID, social distancing. Ladybug can't travel. So Ladybug will travel virtually to do workshops for young girls. And within those workshops, we'll be sending ahead all the materials and, you know, gifts and specialized gifts that they'll get normally in an in-person workshop virtually, so they can have that and we can all work together. So that's what this beanie is. But about the 12 months of creative dopeness, that is going to be all centered around me providing patterns that you're going to take one granny square and create dope things with. So the hat is just one, I mean, you know, so everyone can see. But there's also really cool things like pillows. You can create your own pillow for your home. So once you're done with it, your friends come over, or if you're virtual and it's in the background, you're like, girl, where you get that pillow? You're like, yeah, I made it. Bragging rights all day. Teach you how to make throw pillows. For those who are interested in clothing, there is this really cool granny square skirt that we included. This is a pencil skirt, so I'm going to be showing you all, providing the pattern. If you're interested in having materials provided as well, providing the materials required to do a pencil skirt. So that's another project. Remember, we have 12 projects that will be included. So that's 3. So it's the hat, the skirt, the pillow, but there is also another pillow. This is travel pillow, because everyone knows that I love to travel. And again, had we not been in COVID right now, I would be traveling and I would be doing this workshop for these little girls in person and soaking in all culture. But since that's not the case, this is where we are. Lovely seeing you all virtually. Within 12 months of creative dopeness, this will be another pattern. You will be learning how to make travel pillows that are granny square travel pillows. You like that? And lastly, this is a project that I'm in between right now, where it's going to be a sweater, and it's made from granny square too. So yes, so you'll be learning how to do that as well. And along with, well, this is what, 6 projects. There'll be 6 other projects. It's like a passport holder. I don't know. You get to see when you see. So again, we are working on today's focus, and every Sunday's focus is showing you all this Granny Square beanie business. So you all will be in tune and be a part of the, like the journey of making the Granny Square beanie. These Granny Squares were actually provided by another crocheter, actually my cousin Priscilla. So she provided these squares so I can do this live version of creating these beanies. If you're interested in the purchase of a beanie, you can go to the link that I'll provide in the bio. If you're interested in contributing to the nonprofit, remember it is a 501c3, so all donations being made are a tax deductible at the end of the year. You can go to donate.yarnmovement.com and do so there. And then every Sunday, you can come look at my face while I'm creating Granny Square beanies and tell, inspiring stories about my own journey as the creative entrepreneur and pilot of Yarn Movement, and hear how I've been able to pivot during this COVID time and still, maintain a stability in my business and sustainability in the culture for handcrafted goods. And you say, yay. So I'm just working on the other side of the beanie so I can pull it all together. I again set a goal that every Sunday I'm going to try to get through the completion of a beanie, minimally, create a few squares. But since I have a few crocheters who are in the works and working their hands to help, it makes it a lot easier to get through some of the work. And then we all get to share the power of creativity to empower each other and empower the world together. And that's what it's really all about. And now the prayer is that I don't run out of this purple yarn. So I'm not quite exactly sure if I have this shade. I think I do, but I would definitely have to find it. And this is just one of those peculiar times and season that we're in, because it used to be that you can go to the craft store and have your pick of shades of yarn, and whew, right now it's like the last of the Mohegans trying to find specific colors or even just yarn in general, especially if it's like the generalized colors like white, black, red, yellow, like primary colors, including purple in there, because there are so many different shades that you can have. So making sure that you have the right shade is a challenge at the moment. So hence the reason why we're doing beanies and the granny squares that are creating these beanies in all different colors. Granny squares are just an easy way to incorporate various colors without, running out of yarn at the same time. So that's one. Yeah, we gotta pray about this. So although the squares are already done, I'm just adding a extra row, a thin row. I'm doing a single stitch just to make it just a little bit bigger, especially for those who have hair. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about yarn movement too, just because I've just been in a space where I have, over the years, this is not the first time in history for yarn movement that we've had to pivot. And each time we pivot is for a, like leveling up reason, and this time it's all about being able to be in position to help other handcrafters. and create or cultivate this new community of next generation of handcrafters while we do it. Hence the reason why Believe in What You Dream was created. Came out of this space of me traveling, especially abroad in college, where when you start traveling, you get to see all of the really unique and well-made handcrafted goods from whatever region you're traveling to. And during that time, I started off in Oaxaca, Mexico, and I would watch, you know, Leathersmith. They were making the Hirachi sandals, and a lot of them were done by hand, like from the dyeing and curing of the leather um, to making the cowboy boots. And it was actually the first time that I actually watched yarn being dyed. Um, not so much for the use of creating like crochet work, but for the use of yarn that's being used in rugs and carpets. And it was just so fascinating because I think that we have an capability of that when you have things that are readily made for you, it's like a ready to wear, ready to buy type concept, that you lose the magic of something that's being handmade or handcrafted, and therefore you also lose that element, that quality of what goes into things that are being created too. And so with that spirit, I thought would be very important for Yarn Movement to provide a space for handcrafters around the globe to, really show off their talent, tell their stories about their handcrafted goods, so we as consumers, or you all as consumers, understand how to value something that's being made by hand versus something that's being made by machine. Because it's just things that machines can't do. It can't, get the essence of being so unique from a machine. You have to get that done by hand. And so there are still countries and cultures that really thrive on that concept of doing something by hand. And so the online marketplace, which is Addiction by Yarn Movement, it's set up as a way for handcrafters to share their stories and, bring you as a consumer into the world of the handcrafter and build a relationship with, the artisan who is making goods for you, whether it's you have a boutique, whether you're an individual, consumer just looking for something unique to buy, or you're in a space where you would like to do some wholesale business and you're looking for a more unique quality of product as opposed to going to the same manufacturers that everyone else in the world goes to, so throughout my travel, I've been able to build some really great relationships with artisans around the world. And that's where it really starts for me, sharing their story, showing you what they have, and, putting them in position where they can actually build a business and build something that's more sustainable for, them in the long run, and not just, whenever people have an opportunity to travel to purchase those one time, and you leave that artisan in a space where this is something that they love, but they can't sustain life by doing it because there's not enough people who are popping up and popping around to support it. So it opens up an opportunity to do that. As it relates to um, the Believe in What You Dream workshop, we have an opportunity to introduce a theoretical empowerment for girls to have an opportunity to feel empowered in the moment, and feel empowered a lot sooner than it normally happens just in the regular space of time. I know for me, and I can only speak for myself in my own journey, that it probably wasn't until like after college that I feel like that I had this um, extra pressure to really figure it out. And really, it's kind of like started in college too, because they put you in a space where You have to determine what kind of degree you want to get. You have to determine what your future is going to look like very quickly in order to, kind of get the classes that are needed to really help you get those hours in. Um, and then you have this opportunity after you've been trained and given the tools. Now you have to put them to work later. And so, believe in what you dream is kind of set up for them to have an opportunity to allow those moments to click a little bit better, I guess, if I were to like give it a real space of saying what it is, where, and what's clicking is the value that they bring to every decision, every, setting, everything that's being done in their life. Just understanding that they are the key, that people can feed you as much as they want, but it's up to you to be in a space where you make a decision about what you want to do and how you're going to do it. Um, and so just giving them those kind of tools, and then ultimately putting them in a space too, that if it does not end up being, this route of, being a scholar, going to college, that they have an opportunity to build a business, but not only build the business, but understand why the business is working. And if they want to be crocheters, I can help them establish a business through, the vehicle of yarn movement, just by helping them create a platform, by bringing in consumers, showing off their designs, whatever they come up with, um, and build a client base based on, the 20 years of, clientele that's already been connected to the platform of yarn movement. So that is really the pivot that's being worked on right now. And for the last few years, I would say. I don't know. I'm running out of this purple. I think I might have enough to just do this one last square, but I'm gonna have to figure out something to put them all together. So those of you who are just popping in, we are making granny square beanies. This is one side of the granny square beanie already done, so I'm working on the other side now. And also, if you're interested in supporting the work of empowerment of girls through the nonprofit arm of Yarn Movement called Believe in What You Dream, you can visit donate.yarnmovement.com to read up a little bit more. Look at how you can make a contribution towards a Dream Girl kit for the girls who we'll be connecting with virtually now, since we won't be traveling. Speaking of which, there are a lot of people who are traveling, and I, say bless their brave souls. I'm just not personally there yet to. Uh-oh. Yep, I ran out of yarn. So I'm going to be doing different color. Let's pull these together. We're going to figure out what we're going to do with the other purple one. Okay. Make sure we don't drop our fan, because we definitely need that, because it's 1,000 degrees in the world right now around us. Okay. So I'm going to put these squares together. Just need to pull together the inseams. Okay. So that one's together. And I just need to do one more. So then we're going to put it together to this other one. Yeah. I'll tell you, nothing is like not wasting yarn, I'm telling you. No such thing as wasted yarn over here. This is done from like the yarn scraps that happen when like I don't have enough yarn to finish something. So I just don't want to throw the yarn away. I think that there's opportunities to make some cool things and still be sustainable. Okay. Y'all pray for me because I need to pull together this one more side, and I think I have not enough yarn to do it, but we're gonna see what happens. Okay, so we have our two sides. So we're gonna put these two together. Maybe. With this much yarn, we'll see what happens. All right, let's see. This is hilarious. I don't know if it's gonna make it. I'm gonna have to do this another way. Do this other one. Maybe it'll work. Let's see. Okay, don't do this at home. Try to be in position where you have enough yarn. It's not so bad because it's going to be in the interior. I'm going to add black in here. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I just put this seam together. Good thing it's the inseam, so you're not gonna see it unless you just wear your hat inside out. Traditionally, I like to keep it all the same color, but I just don't have any more of the yarn, so you know, this is a unique case. You just roll with the punches, you know. Use what you got to get done what you need, or something. Okay. That's done. So we're going to put the other edges together. Okay. Oh, see? Can't tell. We're all in there, you know. So we have these two sides. Now we're going to put these two sides together. It's still funny though. Okay, and you're just going to do just as you did the other side, or just as I did the other side. But if you're stitching along, this is how you're going to do it. I like to do a single crochet across the tops of the two sides. Okay. And it's hot as fish grease. Okay. Okay, so we have all of them together now, and we just need to do one more seam on the other side. So they're all together now. So it's one piece. You can actually see, I think, almost a little bit the black in between that one, but that's fine because it's going to be the same on each side this time. And we're actually going to put a black border on because we don't have any more of the purple, unfortunately, but it'll still look cool because we started with black in the middle. So this pattern is completely made up, but this is going to be a pattern that I will be sharing in my pattern book for 12 months of creative dopeness. I chose to keep the focal point for this pattern book centered around granny squares, just because whenever you see me live, most of the time I'm working with granny squares or I'm doing, some kind of version of the tassel work. So you will look out for 12 months of creative dopeness. You'll have a new project to work on with, yourself. You can have it as, group projects, a meetup. You can do sip and stitches where you have a little, sip, whether it be tea or wine. If you all have been watching the Fly Girls episode, you know that I utilize tea and wine for metaphors. For how you're feeling in that moment or what's kind of going on as far as self-care goes, and tea kind of represents for me as a creative entrepreneur and business owner for myself. There comes times where I'm not really being mindful of my self-care moments, and I'm not necessarily being really mindful of them. I do them sometimes unconsciously versus doing it intentionally. And so when I think of tea, I think of, when you're drinking tea, that's your herbs that you need for the day. That's your way of getting to a Zen place. It could be your moment where you're just telling your body like, hey girl, I do see you. And I know you need your rest. You need this extra level of, care. And that's what tea kind of represents for me, letting remind yourself to rest, remind yourself to relax a little bit, listen to your body. And in the other side, wine represents this moment to celebrate. Many of us, when we're working on projects solo, we always have to champion ourselves and celebrate ourselves and have this reminder of like, when you complete something, whether it's a small task, remember to put yourself in a space where you celebrate, your small victories and milestones, because, if not for anything, you set out to get something done and you did it, you completed it, and you completed it by yourself or with the intentions of, starting an initial thought and getting it done. So that's what wine kind of represents for me. And, wine can also be sparkling. So it's like that extra level of like just celebrating you in that moment. And so when you're thinking about maybe starting a sip and stitch, or, maybe I can host it for you, because I have been hosting a few sip and stitches virtually. It's a nice activity. A lot of people like to do yoga and, things like that. And crocheting is its own, exercise of the mind. So just something to think in mind, keep in mind when you're making these decisions about what you can do within your spare time at home that can really put you in a space where you're advocating for yourself and self-care. Crochet is perfect. So now I'm going to pull together this beanie for the last step. You have to do it this way. So now if you're just tuning in, this is the fun part, because I have everything all the way done already, and this is just the last step before the finishing part. But I typically don't do the finishing part on live, mostly because Instagram kicks me off. Uh-oh. Okay. And I'm just creating almost like a drawstring. Okay, just a few more rounds. Okay, so now that it's all the way through, I want to show you how you have it's like a little hole in between, right? And so the string that we just put in there, we're going to utilize it as almost like a drawstring to close up. And if you were doing a pom-pom at the top, this will be the time that you put the pom-pom in before you tighten it all the way closed. And so you just want to have it so you can't see any spaces at the top. And you just want to tie it off. You just tie it off with a regular knot. And to make it a little bit more secure, I always go and do like an X. So I pull the yarn on each side across the way. That's one. Do a knot. And then that's two. Do another knot. Okay. And then with that, we just cut off the spare part. And this will be the beanie complete. So this is the granny square beanie. I'm going to cut off the extra pieces, but this is complete. And so again, for these beanies are being sold to support the Yarn Movement's nonprofit arm, which is called Believe in What You Dream, where we are helping young girls discover their superpowers. And one beanie is enough to impact the lives of two girls. So therefore, you have an opportunity to make a contribution and also have something to remind you of your contribution that you made. And with those beanies, two girls will receive Dream Girl kits. And inside the Dream Girl kits, they'll have the materials and supplies required to do the workshop, which again, these are workshops are being done virtually now. And in most of the areas, sometimes the money will go towards the cost of making sure there's enough data to cover the cost needed to make sure Zoom is able to operate, or have an opportunity for them to download a video for them to kind of do a crochet along with me, along with learning the importance of journaling and enjoying their dream catchers. So that's what the cost will go towards for this, in addition to the specialty products that will go to kind of address the social disparities that are in place, which includes, power being one of them. So each girl will receive a solar lamp along with personal hygiene products, from anywhere from just soaps and lotions to sanitary products as well. So this is a beanie. If you are interested in purchasing a beanie, look for the link, whether if you're looking on Instagram or social. You can go to linktree.com/yarn movement, and you click the top link where it says Granny Square Beanie. If you're interested in making a contribution towards a nonprofit, of course, for a tax deduction for the end of the year, you want to do so by going to donate.yarnmovement.com. And lastly, again, before I head out, I want to go through like the exciting news that I'm going to be putting out a pattern book for a series, a year series called 12 Months of Creative Dopeness, where I'll be walking you along through the concept of creating really dope things that are centered around a granny square. So I'm going to be showing you how to go from single granny squares to making, of course, beanies, where I'm providing you the pattern and doing a walkthrough with you, along with other cool things like this cute sweater that, can be served as a crop sweater, or, we can put sleeves on there and show you different ways you can go from, again, a single concept of a granny square with a few more sections. And I'll show you how to maneuver this pattern in a way where you can make a sweater, a crop sweater, or something of your liking. Along with, because I am all about travel pillow. Again, those are the granny squares, and make a travel pillow so when you get to go travel, or those who are braving the souls of quarantine right now and traveling, you can do so in a really cute, effective way to make you stand out. Because it's all about sharing the power of creativity to empower the world, but also about embracing you and everything that makes you dope. So that's a travel pillow. And just in case you're not traveling, you can have throw pillows that, you can sit on, you can throw in the background somewhere so people can just see what's going on. And then they go, oh, where did you get that from? He's like, oh, I made it. Bragging rights. So I'm going to be showing you all how to make throw pillows as well. And then, just to give you another idea of some of the projects, I have this pencil skirt that is a whole heap of colors, because I am all about color and pops of it and color blocking. So you'll learn how to make this as well. So look out for more information for 12 Months of Creative Dopeness, where I will be, again, providing the patterns, the supplies, and the walkthrough of making sure that you can successfully attain and achieve really cool things to brag about. Again, this is S.Ladybug. I am the pilot of Yarn Movement, where we are a global fashion and lifestyle brand created to inspire consumers like yourselves to value craftsmanship within their consumption. S.Ladybug signing out until be next. Sip and stitch, and I'll see you all soon. Embrace your dopeness. Uh-oh.